Femke, welcome into the studio. Nice to have you, and nice to finally meet you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you
Now,
very much.
before we jump into a little bit about your story and a lot of other different topics, because you do have a very interesting story that we will dive into from where you've come from. For everybody watching and listening, just give us a little bit of an insight about who Femke is, what you're doing, where you're working, and what's keeping you busy.
Yeah, now I'm Femke Cornelissen. I live in the Netherlands. I'm a Microsoft MVP. I have 2 children, one of 2 and one of 5. So I'm a mom. I work at Wordle as a technical evangelist, and I'm traveling all over to speak about Copilot, adoption, productivity. I'm a really Microsoft community person, I think. I really love to help others, but also, share my knowledge. It's really some passion from me. Yeah.
Talking about Copilot, everybody's talking about Copilot these days. It's pretty hot topic, so I'm sure that is that's keeping not only Wordle busy, but also your customers as well. We will get onto that topic, but before we do that, tell me a little bit. I was doing a little bit of reading about where you've come from, your history, and all that sort of stuff. And it was quite interesting that you sort of started as marketing. You were handling security and telephony requests, and you even had a little bit of a stint at Google, I understand. So how did you get to where you are now, working with Microsoft 365?
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's, I think, 10 or 11 years story. So I started
we probably don't have that long. So we'll just condense it down. We'll just condense it down a little bit.
Yeah, so I started like a marketeer, and just finding out what's new, what's there in the Microsoft ecosystem, and really like to talk and present about it, and also making some blog posts. Example for my colleagues, a lot. I did that a lot. But after that, I was thinking, okay, sometimes I know more than my colleagues, because I was really like marketing person that I want to know what's new features and want finding out and want to test it also. So there was a little bit my love for Microsoft is beginning. And after I started as a marketeer, I get after that more in a SharePoint consultant role. So helping the customers with everything about SharePoint, and after that more like Teams productivity. And our team was growing, so I was after that the team lead of adoption and productivity in that in my own team. So that was really interesting, from marketing to more like a technical role, and also have a business role opportunity, more business focused. So it was really nice to start it in marketing, and really don't know how I like the tech world. For example, I had no idea if I like IT or tech or something like that, but just stepped in because it was a marketing role, and I was thinking always was thinking about this can be something new, because everything tech is always changing, and there will always new opportunities. And I think that's what happened the last 11 years. Yeah.
Because you're fairly entrepreneurial as well, I was reading. So you had your own business and did some photography and all that sort of stuff. And did you spend some time at Google as well?
That's true. Yeah, I before I started in marketing, I had my own company in that, and I worked for Google. Yeah, that's true. I did some like street view all over the world. Things that you come into a company, and that you had a view in a company, how that company looks inside. So I did a lot of business photography there, for example, in Dubai and New York, that kind of areas. I have my own company, and it was really fantastic to have that before I started in marketing. It was great to be a young entrepreneur and going to in something really different, and that was a tech. So I was thinking, is this really something for me? Is it something that I like? Is it, do I like this area? Yes, I definitely like it. So I can still be something like an entrepreneur and changing my roles and growing in this area. Yeah.
So moving into obviously the Microsoft 365 space now, you're doing a lot of evangelizing and things like that with your customers, showing them, I guess, the art of what is possible. What are the areas of Microsoft 365 that you're focusing on at the moment?
Yeah, I'm focusing a lot of Copilot this time. Yeah. I think every day I have, I spend almost the whole day about Copilot because it's really busy on that. But I'm also focusing on Viva and information management, but also just like Teams or productivity in the whole way space. Yeah.
So, do you think in the Copilot space, do you think you're getting that's getting a lot of traction because it's the hottest thing on the market right now, or are people actually starting to realize the benefits and what they can actually achieve and the time they can save and all of that sort of stuff with Copilot?
Yeah. A lot of people want to know what time can I get when I use Copilot? What time can I save? For me, I also used Copilot for a few months. We were in the Jumpstart program of Microsoft, so I really know what I can use and what I not use right now. But one of the things that we're helping our customers with is adoption. I think one of the biggest challenges is adoption. And for example, for me, 5-6 months ago, was that the same? I don't know what I can use or how I use this and how I can use it. And the normal day work was just always the same. And now you need to think about how can I use it? What is my work? What I'm doing the whole day, and how can Copilot help me with that? And for me, it was not only for myself that I can help myself with that. I really need to talk with other people and have some kind of scenarios about thinking, what is my day-to-day work, and what I'm actually doing, and how can Copilot help me? So, I use it a lot, and our customers try to help them to use it also. But I'm using it a lot, like meetings. When I have a meeting, I always use Copilot. And when I'm talking...
In what way? So you're in a meeting. Give me an example of maybe a prompt or something that you'd be using in the meeting context.
Yeah, I also use it when I'm not have a meeting, but I made a meeting. So if I spoke with someone, I'm also make it a meeting. And then I'm, for example, when I'm with a customer and I want to achieve something with that customer, I ask Copilot to help me to get something achieved and what I can do to get to that result. So sometimes I ask, how is the person on the other side? How is he feeling? Is he happy? Is he not happy? Or do you can you help me with this to get a better conversation? Or just summarize the meeting. For one thing that doesn't work really well in the Netherlands is that the Dutch language is not available. So that's things that customers of us really waiting for. Hope that is coming soon, because a lot of our conversations are in the Netherlands, so are in Dutch, so not always working that well. But yeah, meeting notes, meeting summarize, ask people, ask Copilot about like a subject that talked about, if they can tell me more about that subject so I can learn in the meeting about it. But another thing that's really interesting is a few weeks ago I had a Teams meeting with a lot of people, and we are also hybrid, so I was there in person. And I did 1 hour of a presentation about everything about Copilot and meetings and what will change in the future. So I went home, and I know it was a Teams meeting, so I asked Copilot, how was my meeting? What are my colleagues think about how I present, and did they spoke my name out and what they think about it? So Copilot give me that
Some
they
feedback.
liked. Yeah, feedback. They give me that they liked it, and that they say it was a really great presentation, and that they loved you, and all that kind of stuff. But it let me think about you can also do things what not good, or you always need to think about what are you going to say about another people who's not in the meeting now, but is invited in the whole day meeting. So that's also things that I need to learn and need to think about. Okay, we have a weekly meeting with a lot of people, and we discuss a lot of topics. But when you spoke with someone about just one person, that person can ask if they're speaking about that person. And of course, that's good. You can miss a meeting, but you need to also think about what you say and why you say it. So that's interesting.
It is very interesting. Now, you spoke before about the importance of adoption and things like that with Copilot, and yes, we know it's this big shiny new thing that everybody wants to just turn on.
Yes.
But you were talking before, just off air, how the use in your organisation, because you may not have had any specific business scenarios or use cases to actually use Copilot for. Sort of the adoption went straight up at the start, but then kind of dropped down a little bit. I think with any new type of technology, and Copilot in particular, it tends to need, well, it needs to be almost become habitual, and you need to just to continually use it and think a little bit differently about, how could I potentially do this a little, do this process a little bit differently. What advice would you have, I guess, for organisations that are sort of thinking about, let's just turn Copilot on? What are some things that they should be thinking about before they do that?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things you need to think about before you put it on, because your data governance or your adoption, but also like your things like Microsoft Purview or something like that is really what you need to find out and need to put it on before you going to start. But I see a lot of customers going to start already, and now with the now you can buy one license. People going to buy 1 or 10 license or a few license, and doesn't think about the data governance or something like that. And I really think you need to do that, because I see a lot of examples of things that people really don't know, that they are going to see some information that they thought that they couldn't see. So like salary things and that kind of stuff, that I think, wow, how is this going to happen? Because I always think about, I say always, for example, the Delft, Delft, right?
Delft, yeah.
A lot of customers think, can you see everything in here in Delft? And why I can see that? Yeah, because you have the ability to go in that team, or you have the email with that information. But a few years ago, a lot of people carried that off. And I think right now with Copilot, it's more than even scarier. Then you can ask everything what you want.
You can. But it's funny, I mean, it's brought Copilot, it's security, compliance, and data access, and who can see what. I mean, they're fundamental things that businesses should really be, be on top of anyway. It's the conversations that I'm hearing and what I'm seeing. All of that sort of bubbled up to the surface and to the forefront now because of Copilot. When search and graph and SharePoint search and all that sort of stuff is going to allow people to search, and it will only sort of bring back what you've got access to see. Similar thing with Delve, and now it's just sort of push things along a little bit more with Copilot.
And also it's when you think about adoption, you really want to know what is the scenario you're using. And I think the scenario for like people in different areas are different than other areas. Like Yeah.
Like your executives that are in meetings a lot and those sort of things, their scenario or their use case is going to be that, inside of, getting meeting recaps and action points and, summaries and those types of things. Whereas, somebody in the communications team, they might be using Copilot to create content or start creating content. Yeah. So I think it is really important for people to, or run those smaller little pilots for really specific use cases. I think is where things should start.
Yeah, that's true. And also, like, not only the scenarios, but also the kind of business that they are, what kind of, like in the Netherlands they say zorg. I don't know what it is in English right now, but
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I'm
all.
so sorry. And there was some notification in my thing, so I was really disrupted. But yeah, I think it's good to have a good adoption and good data governance. But a lot of people are just starting and just finding out what it is and how they can use it in their organization. But they really need some help from people, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, moving on, different topic now. Outside of Copilot, you're doing quite a lot of work with, the women in tech space as well. So, tell me a little bit about what you're doing there, because that's kind of when I was doing some reading there. You're doing some interesting stuff there too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm started like almost 1.5 years ago, Dutch Women in Tech with some other girls. And yeah, why we are doing that? Because I was working a lot in the Microsoft community, and I saw people, like tech events, that there are a lot of men there and not much women. So I was thinking about, okay, how can I help to get more women in the tech events, and why are there not that much there? And when I asked, it was more like scary, or is it something for me, or I never been there before. So with Dutch Women in Tech, what I started with a few people was, okay, let's make a meetup only for women and see if that's something that can help to get people to the Microsoft community. And it really works well because, we had now almost 600 women that are in like a Microsoft community, Teams environments. And it's really nice that they help each other. But it started like more for women who don't work in a tech industry. For example, the same as me, I think, started in marketing and just want to find out what is tech and what kind of job roles are there. So I think, we have a lot of women in that community who maybe want to work in tech, but don't know where to start, or don't know what it is, or never had something before. So it's really cool that people helping each other, finding the way, and make it a bigger thing.
Yeah. So do you train them? And I think I was reading somewhere that you help them find jobs as well and sort of launch their careers in that space. Yeah,
that's true. So what we do is have some women give more visibility and sharing their story. Example, my own story, but also others. So that you're more like inspiration stuff. We have a Teams environment where they can find each other. But we have also meetups every month where they come together and sharing some knowledge there. But we did also an 8-week program for women in cyber. And it's really fantastic that there are more Microsoft partners together and sharing something like they're sharing something about the SC900, so certification of Microsoft, the fundamentals. And every week we had another partner. We give some time and some knowledge there. And we had almost 60 women in person every week, and were two sessions. And 160 women worldwide. So we just thought, let's make a Teams link about it and let's do that. And then was, what? So many women are there this is something really big and was really growing. So it's good that we can help get women more, see what kind of jobs are there, what kind of roles are there, how to get started, and what is what you like, and what is what you can do, and how to get most of it in some kind of role.
Yeah. So is it about, so that community, is it about sort of career develop or career growth or changing careers, or is it also about, you're coming from a marketing background as well, and maybe, is it also about how technology can also help, you in your current role? I mean, there might be people that are doing, might be happy in their current role, but, sort of lack that technical ability. But if they learn a little bit more about the tech, it can help them in their current role as well.
I think both. So it's more in we're focusing on both. So we see in the community itself that's more like technical discussions. So people find each other and have technical discussions. But the meetups is more like career based, more like personal leadership, that kind of things that we talk about. So it's really good to have it. And what we see at other communities. So I think we are mostly one of the first community that women go to. And after that, we make like a group, and we go with people like 40 or 50 people to bigger Microsoft events. So we go together, and then we see, whoa, who are that women over there? They go together to sessions and sitting together, drinking some coffee or something like that. So it's really funny that that is nice that you go to a Microsoft event and say, okay, bring your +1 and go together and make it like a good party together, something like that. And it's funny that is working. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's excellent. And yeah, obviously you're building a very large community there. So it's there's obviously a lot of interest there, and people are getting a lot of value from that.
I hope we don't have to need it in a few years, that it's all normal, and we don't have. Yeah. But for now, it's fun. It's fun that I think we started more like, okay, how can we help people get in IT? But now we see it's more like, okay, people need just a woman community or something like that. So it was not the purpose of starting it to get that. It was more like, okay, how can we help to get more women in IT? Yeah.
Now, just stepping back a little bit again, just changing tack back onto what you're currently doing now, and you're kind of evangelizing and showing people the art of what is possible. And I'm sure you come across different organizations, probably similar pain points and things like that. And you spoke before about information management, a really big area as well.
Yeah.
I guess what are you seeing from? What are you seeing from out there with your customers? What are the key pain points that people are coming up against when they're managing their content at the moment?
Yeah, I see a lot of people don't know that that's a problem, or don't think about it that much. But I see information management as one of the big pillars of the future, I think, because a lot of with Copilot is coming up now, and people are thinking about, okay, we need to do something like with information management right now. We think that's you need to build a house, and information management is one of the pillars of building that house with Copilot. For example, like you're always working with a portal, and you always put your content on a SharePoint portal or something like that, and you always have a new message. You always have a new content message.
Yeah.
When people are searching in Copilot, they can find it. And why? Because they never think about deleting one of the oldest messages, or always have a lot of content. So what we are doing and what we are trying to help people understand that they make more and more content, and what is the content that you want to delete or want to put somewhere else, so it's not available anymore, and that people find the right contents in.
Yeah. And where do you instruct, or how? Actually, this is a good one. How do you explain to people where to put their content? So we've obviously got Microsoft Teams, we've got SharePoint communication sites, we've got OneDrive, we've got still a lot of confusion out there. There's there are different types of messaging and things like that. What's your take on sort of where to put stuff?
Yeah, now that's interesting, because I think a lot of people don't know, or just doing by themselves and think what's a good way. So I think you really need to have with your customers a conversation about what is your way of work and how you're going to work together, and make talk about it with each other. And I think a lot of people don't know how to use it, or how to what the good way is. But what I also see, and that's not only with information management, but it's also with usage of the applications. When a lot of people don't use all the Microsoft applications, it might be not a good idea to start with Copilot, because I think you really want to know how you work and what's the best way to work with all the applications, and have the good adoption about all the applications, like enough Teams usage or enough usage about the other applications. And when you use it enough, then you can say, okay, now I can have the full potential of Copilot.
Yeah, well, you still need the fundamentals, don't you? How to use Teams properly. How are we as a group going to be able? How do we communicate just with our team? And then what are we using SharePoint for? What are we using OneDrive for? How does it all fit together? The kind of the core fundamentals that people still need to know.
But it's strange still, like with COVID a few years ago, and I don't want to talk that much because we already talked about that a lot, but there are so many people just started and just creating a lot of Teams or OneDrive and sharing everything. I think that's the conversations I have, but a lot of people in our team have their more focusing on than I, but it's a good conversation you need to have with your customer.
Yeah, definitely. And so with Copilot, how are you measuring? Are you doing any measuring of adoption and understanding and learning how people are actually using it?
Yeah, you can see which people are using it and which people not. So I heard customers who already implemented using it, saying, okay, if you don't use it, we get your license off and give it to another people, because it's so much cost that they are saying, okay. You can see in Microsoft reporting which people are using it, which people not. But also in FIFA Insights give you some scenario-based information about how we can use Copilot. And I think more things are coming over there. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Well, it sounds like that, this year, immediately this year anyway, you're going to be heavily focused on Copilot. Where do you think, what's going to happen this year? Do you think, Copilot, especially in your region, is going to be the hot topic? I mean, Microsoft Teams has been, obviously, then we've had Viva, and now I think probably this year is going to be pretty heavily focused on Copilot, I would have thought.
Yep. Yeah, I think Copilot is the hottest topics for now and even this year, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we might have to slow people down a little bit as well. I think people are very, very keen to go now and buy some licenses, assign the licenses, and just get in there and do it. But you did, at the start of the conversation, you did touch on that very key point of all the bells and whistles and the excitement and all that sort of stuff, and the usage goes up, and then all of a sudden, people sort of, gradually or potentially gradually, the adoption will wane. So we really do need to keep that as a sort of as a habitual thing and continue to use it every single day, I think.
Yeah, and you see also in Copilot there are new options and new things you can figure out. So I think it's also good to have to think about how can you help your customers every month with what is new in Copilot, and how can you use it in different applications like whiteboard or templates or that kind. And there are so many things, not only in the Microsoft 365 chats, but also like Loop or and what is that working for that kind of scenario, that person
soon
that works
soon also in SharePoint too, creating SharePoint sites with Copilot and things like that. It's going to be pretty exciting as well.
So
lots of things coming.
Lots of things coming, and I think a lot of people want to know how they can use it and what's the best way to use it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exciting.
Now, as we wrap things up, you're obviously pretty easy to find on the socials, and you do a lot of writing and communicating and things like that. Where, if people want to keep up to date with what you are doing, whether it's your Women in Tech initiatives or just the information that you're posting out, where is the best place to get in contact and follow you?
I think on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is the best way to find me, and also my community is there. Dutch Women in Tech. You can also find it there.
No worries. I'll put all the links in the show notes as well, so people can connect with you if they want to, follow along with what you're doing as well. It's a great story. You're doing some great work. Good conversation. Thanks very much for joining and jumping in. And thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you in real one day.
One day. Well, when we get out of, I'm down here in Melbourne, obviously.
Maybe the MVP summits.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. Very good.
Okay. See you later. Thank you.
See you later.